Welcome. You are now listening to the Better Agent Brand Podcast, where we help the modern real estate agent say goodbye to outdated marketing tactics and instead grow an authentic and magnetic personal brand that actually connects. And with that said, let's get into today's show. All right, we are here finally with On the Move with Amanda. Or you want to tell me your real name, the full name?
Amanda Ryan.
Amanda Ryan, yeah, just to be clear. Finally getting to meet. Thank you for being here. Good we're finally getting to meet. We're at KW Mega Camp. I get confused. Family reunion time goes so fast.
Yeah.
In Austin, my first time here. Yours first time here?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's right, because you're from?
Dallas.
Yeah, which is only?
3 hours away.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yes, and I've only been there once.
And Mega Camp is one of my favorite real estate conferences to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. Okay. Any reason why?
I feel like it's more intimate than like a family reunion.
Which is funny because it's family reunion, you would think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Austin and all the things that Austin has to offer.
Yeah.
Austin is really great. Rainey Street is one of my favorite places and streets here in Austin. And then, it's just more like the intimate feel and being able to have deeper relationships and connections and meaningful conversations with other agents. So I love Mega Camp.
Well, this is my first one, so I'll be following you around. Well, thank you for being here. So much to talk about. I wanted to have you here because, I think you're an amazing example for other agents. The brand that you've built, which I'm so excited to talk to you about, how you use social media as a medium to communicate that brand and to leverage that brand, and then how that's all influenced the business that you're building and who you're building the business with, both from a team member's perspective and then also a client perspective.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm excited to dig into it. You're good, right? You ready to go in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start with, when did you start in the business? What's the average transactions looking like? How is it growing over time? And what's the social media account look like? The standards, the benchmarking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I got my real estate license. I earned my real estate license in the fall of 2017. Mm-hmm. I started immediately with a team. And I just felt like I could learn from somebody who's already have done it. And so I was a part of that team for over 2 years, and I loved every bit of it. It was an opportunity for me to not have to reinvent the wheel, learn from somebody who has done it for all of these years. And then at some point I just felt like, okay, I really want to spread my wings, do this on my own, and then grow a team for myself. Yeah. And so that's when On the Move was born, which was 2020.
So 2 years under the other person or under team. Yeah.
Yep, another team.
And then same brokerage or you left brokerage?
Same brokerage.
Okay, then
so KW from day one.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. I couldn't picture myself anywhere else, so I do love KW. But so yeah, our team is still fresh. We're in our toddler stage, but no, it's great. So I've been licensed since 2017, and really started my business off of cold calling.
That's so crazy.
So
it's not, but it's just,
For me, I'm not originally from Texas, right? So I'm from Ohio. I came to Texas to visit my girlfriend who just recently moved here, ended up meeting Nick through her group of friends. And so Nick and I were long distance for a few months. I was an athletic director in Ohio at that time. So I was able to come here and visit him. And, he owns a classic custom hot rod shop in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Fun work.
His work is amazing.
And tell the people who Nick is. They're like, who the heck is Nick?
Yeah, so Nick was my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband.
Congrats.
Thank you. And so I finally decided to pick up everything and anything that can fit in my Honda Civic at that time and moved to Texas.
And you drove it down?
Yeah. Wow. Well, Nick did.
Shout out to Nick for that.
Yeah, Nick did. And so when I got into real estate, I didn't have family, friends. I had a small group of friends, but no one was looking to buy or sell. So at that point, I just picked up the phone and cold called. Wow. So I called expired listings, I called canceled listings and for sale by owners, and built my business off of cold calling.
Insane. Like, what type is that? Like a sad life? Like, as far as it's like you're just they're probably hanging up on you. Like,
I mean, it happens. It is not for the weak.
Yeah. That's like boot camp to start your situation off. Yeah.
But I mean, it was great because that's what I built my business on, and so like it was like day in and day out of the grind, and it was making the cold calls, and so. Now, when I'm able to check a DM and I have a new client that wants to work with me, you know, it makes me really appreciate what I went through before.
Yeah.
But so COVID hit and it felt a little just not right to cold call people. I felt like the world shut down and like the last thing that somebody wanted to do, especially with like being sick and laid off of their work and their job, like it just didn't feel right. So once COVID hit is when I decided to just go all in on social media.
Right.
And so, I can remember in our spare bedroom having like a small corner, like you didn't want to look at the rest of the room, but like a small corner of the bedroom that looked decent. And it was just like white walls.
Hiding
and
the other stuff.
Yeah. And propping my phone up on like books and, but so COVID hit and I'm just all in on social media. I'm recording videos. I'm making posts regularly. Getting content out there that's relatable because I knew the last thing that people wanted was to be sold on something when the world is just shut down.
Yeah.
So that's really when social media took off for me and I started to see it just 10x my business.
10x. Yeah. Wow. So, man, so much. I'm so happy you said that cold call story because like I said, I think it provides a lot of context and a lot of kind of hope for agents who are new, who are like, what am I going to talk about? Because it happens all the time. There's like, I'm not an expert on anything yet. Social media or the practices are telling me I need to be talking about and building trust. How? I don't have anything. I'm just starting. So I'm assuming some of that cold calling, the work, and actually you must have got some sales from it.
Oh, yeah. And what's so great is like I have clients from like day one of real estate who I cold call. They're like my number one cheerleaders to this day. Yeah. So it's like, it's still great. And there's even, those that, I help them, their home expired from the market. I help them with selling that home, helped them with buying their next one. We've sold that home since, helped them buy a new one since. I've helped their kids. So like it really does work.
And they're following you on social media.
And they're following me on social media, which is awesome. And, we host client events. We host one a quarter every year, so 4 throughout the year. And it's just a way for us to get face-to-face. And so, they're hearing from me. They're seeing me on social media. We're meeting face-to-face a couple of times throughout the year.
Yeah.
And
it's awesome. What when you went into... Man, I want to say from cold calling, but I don't think you were thinking about it as much there. This term that I obviously am extremely passionate about, which is personal brand. Mm-hmm. When it seems like the social media for a lot of agents becomes, this is something that will get me something, right? Like it's a medium. And it is. It's a medium. I'm not sure. The best agents think about it as a means to building personal brand.
Right.
But a lot of agents think of it as it's just a way for me to talk to people, right? When did I think you have a strong personal brand. Hopefully you do too. When did you start thinking as a personal brand? Were you even thinking in those terms? Or when did that transition happen?
So really when COVID hit and I decided to go all in on social media, I used that as a platform to get my voice out there. It wasn't immediately that I thought personal brand. That came a little bit afterwards. And then I realized, when I am putting the content out there, when I am, talking to my ideal client, this reflects back on me.
Yeah.
And then it's just being able to build on top of that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't immediate for me, and that's probably, I'm not a marketer by any means.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
And so that didn't come naturally. But it was a little bit afterwards, after I decided hey, this is actually working. I'm seeing results from it. And then I got real with the brand that I wanted to put out there.
So it's almost like you started don't take this the wrong way. It's like I started to like just throw spaghetti against the wall.
Yeah.
See what stuff started sticking. Try to say that 5 times fast. Stuff started sticking, and over time, you probably would started doing transactions with people that were coming from social media. Was that a cool feeling? Like, especially coming from cold calling, was that like, whoa, this is a whole different way to go about this thing?
So, like, you nailed it on the head. It was so different, and it was like, whoa, wait, like somebody is actually hearing me, and how can I continue to do this? The best part about that, and like focusing on building a brand versus, just getting any and everything out there, the best part is that when you start thinking, okay, this is my personal brand, here's what I want to put out, here's the colors, the logos, the font, you start thinking that, but then you think, okay, like, who's my ideal client? And I literally built an avatar. Her name is Grace. You don't even know. This is such a big part of my process. My clients who are watching this, that I spend a lot of time with them, like, because they want to jump to the fancy stuff. I'm not trying to cut you off, I'm sorry. Yeah. But they're like, cool, personal brand, logos, I've been looking at this lady and this, I like this color, and I'm this huge, and I'm like, it starts with, who are we talking to? Yep. And deeply understanding that. Yep. And then what are we going to say? What are we going to talk about that's going to build a connection? And then we can get to the pretty stuff. So go ahead. I'm sorry to that. That's exactly it. So Grace, she is my made up avatar, but she is my ideal client. She's a 35-year-old mom. She's got a 2-year-old daughter. She's got a husband. She's an accountant. He works at Lockheed Martin. Like, I go like super deep into like, what do they do for a living? What hobbies do they have? What motivates them? And so like, I even went to the extent to say, okay, they purchased a home, back a few years ago. They're quickly outgrowing that. They plan to have more children. They want to move to a new construction home so that they can spend more time with the family and less time on the house.
Yes. Why? Yep. Why are they doing these things? Why are they buying? Why are they saying? Why aren't they?
And you know what's crazy is like after I got intentional about who it was that I was speaking to, that's who we work with all day long. Yep. Like all of our clients, they are in their early mid 30s. They're usually a small family, or they're working on having a family of their own. Yeah. And then like all these things that just like speak to them. And what's funny is once I built that out, I was like, oh, hey, that's Nick and I. Like,
yeah, it's me. It's us. Yeah.
And so like, that's why our clients become our number one cheerleaders, because they're just like me. They're just like us. And so it's just that it's being relatable.
It's awesome.
And it's being organic and who you are, because they're finding you on social media, they're relating with you, and they're like, hey, I like what she's doing. She's speaking to me. It's like, I can't tell you how many times I get that.
You're talking to me.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I related with that. Like, it sounded like this video was for me. Damn. It sounded like this post was for me. That's awesome. And I'm like, hey, girlfriend, like, yeah, it was.
Yeah. And
now let's do the damn thing.
Yeah. No, I love it. So yeah, you're putting out stuff. You're transitioning from the cold calling. This is happening primarily because of pandemic. Yeah. Right. And then you start going at the social media thing, and did you start with a certain amount of platforms? How consistent were you? Like, what was the regiment like for this? Do you even remember?
Yeah. So it was really Instagram. That's what
stayed on that one. Yep.
That's what did it for me. And Instagram to Facebook, I guess you could say.
Feeding automatic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the goal was always Instagram. And so starting on there, and it first started out with posts, then it started out, especially once COVID hit and I had all the time in the world, it started out with videos. And then once reels and shorts and all of that came into play. But, Instagram has always been my day one social media platform, and it still is today.
And you didn't have any problem getting on film? Was that just natural for you? Only because you said, I was a natural marketer, which I think is great for agents to hear. I think because let's be honest, like, I think one of the best personal brands in real estate is Ryan Serhant. And people look up to, I'm talking about Ryan Serhant. And people look up, he has a great online presence. Obviously, he was $1 million listing. Right. But people look up to him. And the tough part about it is he's a trained actor. So he has, it's he
has that background.
Come on. Yeah, he's literally an NYC trained actor. And then also a great real estate agent. Right? So for the person who doesn't have that, it's like, how am I supposed to and it's like, I just love hearing that you weren't a marketer, and then you kind of became one. you know?
Yeah.
And used what you had.
For
right?
sure. And it's just being authentic.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like the first videos that I posted, they were like cringe-worthy. It's like, oh God. Yeah. Like, ooh. You know, and you have to get over that. You're not always going to look a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. You're not always going to sound. You're going to stumble over your words. Like, these things happen. It's okay. Mm-hmm. You know, people aren't really watching you, if that makes sense. You know, they're listening to what you have to say. Is what you're saying relatable to them? Is it authentic? Does it relate with them? And that's going to trump how you look, how you sound, you know, the fact that
the intentionality and kind of the passion, or the energy behind what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we start niching down. You start, you know, really identifying an avatar. Was there anything else you did in regards to your identity and messaging before we even get to the visual? I'm backtracking because I'm going into, I don't want people to go to your account and look at how cool it is and how like you have almost 6,000 followers right now, and then be like, cool, the last 4 things she did, I'll do that, copy, paste, go. Like, I'm going back to like how this actually was happening. Oops, that was our ice banging. Back to not being perfect. How the brand was built, you know? So was there any point that you were focused on like getting clear about your identity and your value proposition, or what you were going to talk about, or who you were going to become? Or
I feel like once I took off my real estate agent hat and I said, okay, I'm going to switch over to being intentional about marketing and branding myself. You know, after my avatar was built, it then went to the content pillars.
Yeah, you know, this is great. I'm glad you're talking about this. Yeah.
What is it that I'm going to consistently post about? And what is it that's going to speak to Grace? And that's always what
Grace, the avatar.
Yep. So that's always what it comes down to. Every single time that I'm posting, I'm like, what do I want Grace to do with this content? What do I want her to say or to think? Or what is that call to action? And so every single post is always relating back to what is it that I want? What message is being put out there?
Yes. And I love this because, and I always challenge my clients and agents to have an imagination, right? Like you're going into content strategy with an imagination, meaning this fake person right here, persona rather, that's right here. Because if you don't do that, what happens is you just naturally kind of like, well, what's she doing? Or she wore a white V-neck, maybe I should wear a white. Right. And that's you're looking here to here, you should be looking here. That's you get what I'm saying? This will happen anyway, because agents love to see what other agents are doing.
Yeah.
But designing content for agents, unless you're selling them something or offering a resource or something, it's not as valuable as what you're talking about.
Right.
Locking in with Grace.
Yeah.
That's why I love that. You know?
Absolutely. And it's funny because now my following, because, you know, I'm posting about real estate, right? But it's only one of the 4 content pillars that we have. So we've got real estate. I've got all the local happenings, you know, because Grace is into farmers markets and she's into the, you know, local parades and the new brewery or the new coffee shop that just opened. You know, so we've got 4 content pillars that talk to Grace.
I love that.
And it's funny because with consistently posting that, you know, if I skip a Thursday date night, like posting about it, my followers are like, so what's up this Thursday?
Is that one of your pillars?
Yeah.
Okay, Thursday date night. Okay.
Yeah, and it's something that is important to Nick and I.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, but I'm posting about it like here for date night.
That's a cool pillar. I've never heard that.
Been here. You know, and it's part of like my local happenings, right? Because I'm posting about local.
Tying right in.
Yeah, it's tying right into that.
Yeah, ICE is having a mind of its own.
It's tying right into that, but you know, it's kind of something that I just was like, hey, this might, you know, promote the restaurant. This might get other people to know about, you know, what's happening here, what this restaurant is known for. You know, want to check out the best martini. You know, we had it on our date night tonight.
Great way to plug in the local vendors, local restaurants.
Absolutely. And I always make sure
that's really good. I like that tactic. That's awesome.
Yeah. And you know, it's not always like Nick and I. You know, it's just like a picture of our food or you know, a video of the front of the restaurant or whatever it is. But you know, I'm pretty consistent at posting every Thursday what we're doing for date night, and our followers expect it. Yeah. You know, my followers know like, it's Thursday, where are they going for date night? Yeah. And I even have clients or future clients or somebody that I haven't even connected with yet. And they're like, I have been wanting to try this place out. How was it?
Yeah.
And you're just having authentic relationships and conversations with people that, maybe one day you're going to take that conversation offline and you're going to help them in real estate.
Yeah, that's great. No, I love it. I wish more agents did that, and hopefully they do now. Man, where do I go from here? I feel like, so do you, content strategy happens, then how do you go into producing? Do you have a regiment? Did you have a regiment for it? Do you have one now? Is there like a scope where you're like, all right, I'm doing this per week, or a goal? Like, I like to think of it maybe like a trainer who's working with a client, like a fitness trainer. It's like, okay, it's not just randomly doing random things every day. It's like, okay, what's the goal? Okay, the goal is I want a six pack, or the goal is I want my back pain to go away, whatever the thing is. And then they would design a regiment for that, consistently do it. Do you go about it that way, or did you not in the beginning, do now? Yeah, what's that been like?
Yeah, so really in the beginning, didn't go like that.
Yeah, it never really does.
It was like, okay, how do I feel about this? And then I did get very consistent and intentional about what I was posting. I'm going really, really deep in with videos right now. And so
Reels specifically?
Yeah, okay. Reels, and then, taking any long form content that I have and then repurposing it, and making it teasers, or making it, chopped into like a 5 series or something. If it's a 5 tips, then breaking that all up.
1, 2, 3, 4 every day. 1, 2, 3, 4 the next day. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And so my focus is on videos, and then of course putting out content that is speaking with our pillars. So yes, I do have a system with putting that content out and being intentional with it. The goal is always 4 videos a week.
It's great.
And then, just consistently posting on stories.
Yep.
And that content is speaking to a wide variety of our audience, whether that's past clients, whether it's future, current agents, highlighting local businesses, that just depends. But my stories are very authentic, behind the sne's, just showing up.
Are you writing out the content pillars? Like, you have your pillars, do they stay the same, and then every month do you write in? Do you like, is this in a spreadsheet somewhere? Like, how are you going about, I guess, creating new ideas?
Yeah.
When that happens versus when it gets done, produced, I mean. You know?
So what I have is, so I'm like a very digital person. Okay. Like, I like all things technology.
Good.
But what I do first is I do have a large calendar with a pencil. I know, pencil. But with a pencil, and I'm writing in what topic, what looks good, what sounds good, what's coming up on my calendar. And so I'm...
On a piece of paper, you're saying? Looking at a calendar on a line. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Or it's a physical calendar.
Oh, physical calendar.
Yeah,
okay,
that I'm actually writing in.
Yep.
And then from there, I'm taking that and then I'm putting it into Canva. But it's almost like brain dumping and writing everything out and having my eraser so that, it doesn't flow, or, something's just not coming to mind. So it's funny because I do everything. I hate paper. My entire team,
same.
They're like, where is this start? I'm like, Google Drive.
I don't even bring paper to conference anymore. I'm just the truth is it's going to end up in my notepad on the phone. Yeah. I'll just sit here and type it into the phone. Yeah.
That's right. Or my iPad or whatever.
Yeah, iPad. Yeah, it's either or. Yep.
Yeah. But so, I do start there because I do want to kind of turn everything off, be intentional about what it is that I'm posting. I already know my content pillars and, what content that I want to put out that speaks to those. And then I'm going to a Canva template and then making it all pretty and nice, and any notes that I have in there. What I do like to do is, especially for videos, Monday I've got 90 minutes that are blocked out, and I'm either writing topics or I'm writing pointers, or if it's a YouTube video, then I'm doing more homework on that. And then Thursdays are my recording days for my long form videos. Okay. And then depending on my short form videos, those are put in throughout the week because they usually do not take me long to do.
The short form. Mm-hmm. Okay. The long form, is it in podcast, or is it just you're recording on a video for YouTube? How does
YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually setting up a day and a time with my videographer.
Awesome.
getting together with her, I've got what I'm going to talk about, where we're going to meet, where I want the B-roll to be highlighted, so I'm being really intentional about that. Thursdays are my recording days for YouTube. And then, like I said, for short form, I can post, I don't know, a 10-second, 30-second video, and it takes me all of 12, 13 minutes.
So is the regiment kind of weekly or monthly? It sounds like it's almost weekly.
It is weekly.
And you have to break it back down again. It sounds like it's one long form video. What's long for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15, 10?
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't gotten up to 30 minutes yet.
Okay, 10 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah, they're like 5 to 8 right now. I'm working on it. I'm such a very high D personality. And so I'm very direct and want to get to the point.
Oh, so there's no lasting time. Right there. Yeah.
So my 5 to 8 minute videos, that's me stretching it. Stretching it hey, can we throw in 20 seconds of just B-roll and not talking because I want to save it
for that. Yeah. So we got the one long form. We got how many?
4 short form.
Short form, and that's and that's not professionally done. That's you on your own, and you might be out at a listing point, but you could just be around.
Yeah, it could be a local restaurant. It could just be quick tips. It could be sharing a story. Anything like that. And then
where are we at with? I guess then so that's 4. Then plus the 1, that's 5. I mean, you're almost at something at least every day at this point.
Yeah.
Any static, any blog, any basically, let me make it simple. Any picture with caption, is that happening?
So here and there, yeah.
Here and there, that's gone. That's okay.
Yeah, I think really it's when I want to be.
And there's no right answer. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Well, for me, I want to be intentional about what I'm posting. And so I don't want to post just for the sake of posting.
Yep.
And so if I felt like that video gave out, whatever it was that I wanted to put out, whatever I wanted Grace to take away from, that video, then I don't necessarily feel like I need to follow it up with any sort of picture, post or anything.
Right.
So it's really a lot of videos for me.
You're riding the video wave, and that's what I said. It's a regimen. It's just okay, we're not doing triceps anymore. We're doing etc. It doesn't make it bad or worse. It's what the agent is actually going to do consistently. It matters more than making this cool scope of what's going to be done that never actually gets done, right? Because if you hate writing, because I don't like actually writing, I would much rather do video or audio. I know that about myself. So why am I going to tell myself write 4 blog posts a week?
Yeah,
I'm just not going to do it.
That's not going to happen.
It's much easier for me to do this. Or this. So
for sure,
I think that's important for an agent to kind of be self-aware, when making that scope of that kind of regimen. What are you going to do?
Right.
What's going to be consistent?
But like you said, what is it that you're good at and that you're going to go all in on?
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. You're not going to see me in front of a computer writing 4 blog posts a week. Maybe ChatGPT, but But that's not going to happen. Words are so hard for me. It's I'd rather just speak them because chances are I'll fumble, but hey, it's okay.
And you know what?
I catch myself.
Yes, obviously video, I promote it just as much as you do. And yes, obviously all these social medias and Mark Zuckerberg and all the people running Twitter, they're going to promote it, and YouTube Shorts and TikTok. They're all promoting the short form video, right? So it works with the algorithm. But I think if you are a really good writer, someone might have came into real estate from being a writer, whether they're a journalist or whatever, I think utilize that talent, right?
Oh, for sure.
And because there's still spaces for it. There's LinkedIn, long form, the post on LinkedIn. There's Medium. There's different mediums that still champion writing.
Right.
Even still the caption, if you can do it. So it's I just think that's important. And it's don't feel like you have to do this, but we obviously encourage it. Yeah. But whatever your jam is, it's better than not doing nothing.
Right. Just go all in with it.
The identity, we talked about the brand identity work, the persona with Grace. When did the visual, because I see, they can't see on the camera, but she's got the branded shirts right here. Love it. When did that come at the same time as Grace being built, the persona? It's basically, to me, the identity and messaging of the personal brand, and then it's the visual brand identity.
Yeah.
Logo, symbol, typography, color palette.
Yeah.
Did that stuff come after or before?
So really when I decided to go on my own, that's really when On the Move with Amanda was born.
Love it.
And then I decided, yep, I do want to start a team. I transferred from On the Move with Amanda to On the Move DFW. And the reason being is I want agents to have a space for branding themselves as well.
Yeah.
And so, to me, thinking on, on the other side of the table, on the other side of things, like, okay, On the Move with Amanda, but Susie shows up for a listing appointment. They're like, wait. Where's Amanda? And so I don't want that, and I want our agents to have a space to brand themselves. It's a partnership. We're in business together. We're business partners. And so I want them to join alongside our brand while being able to brand themselves, have their personal brand as well.
And I'm going to be candid and honest. It's one of the most challenging parts of my work, because in personal branding, it's a personal brand.
Right.
But when you have a team, you essentially have multiple personal brands.
Right.
Sometimes hopefully working, I know this is like a silly thing, but like I come from like 90s rap stuff. So it's like, you're basically trying to build Wu-Tang, right? And it's like each of them with their own personalities, but somehow perception-wise, molded is On the Move.
Yeah.
Right? Or you see what I'm saying? So it's just, what do you think about that? Like, is it more challenging basically to build the personal brands for you when there's a team, or is it just an intentionality thing? Because I love what you're saying. Because what's really cool about the On the Move is On the Move Amanda, On the Move with Tracy, On the Move with Terrence. Right. That's so cool to me, and it flows. It doesn't sound like cringy. It's like, that's really cool. Sorry, I'm just. Is that how you were thinking about it, or do you feel like it's harder to do that, or is it just you opening up a space for them to do it?
Yeah, I feel like when you get in business with somebody, it's an and, not an or, and so it's On the Move and the agent, and so when agents join us, they're bought into our branding already. And so they want to work alongside
On the Move branding.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
They want to work alongside to complement that.
Yeah.
And so it's a seat to pull up at the table and say, here's our brand and.
Yep. And they are buying into the visual brand identity.
Correct.
Okay. And was that created by, again, back to the original question, because I know I veered off, sorry.
Yeah. That's good.
Was that started at the same time when you were making Grace? That was the question.
Yeah.
Or no?
It was right around that time, because like I said, like when I first went out on my own, when I had left my previous team and I went on my own, it was On the Move with Amanda. And so like I had a logo for it and everything.
Okay.
And then I said, you know what? Let's change the script on this. And so that's when, I even from there rebranded. And then that's really when like Grace was formed.
Yes.
And it went more to branding than just marketing, just posting, just social media.
How important is that? Because you're just talking my language right now. Like obviously being consistent on social media can be tough for agents, because you actually got to run the business of being an agent, right? Actually doing transactions, open houses, etc.
Right.
So that's good. I don't want to demean that, but like, what's that elevation look like when it's okay? You've been posting consistently. That's good.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is a different level of. It's almost like a level of intentionality / discipline, right? Is that what was happening? What does that elevation look? What did it look like for you?
Yeah, being able to say, okay, how can I make this relatable?
Versus how can I just put some post out over and over?
Just a post, and that's why I say, like, back to, you're not going to see me sitting down and writing 4 blog posts or 5 blog posts. So what is it that you're going to go all in with? What's going to be relatable, and taking it from there?
Yeah. Do you have any feelings about paid advertising? I guess I want to start overall, and then maybe specifically in sponsored posts or sponsored in social. Any thoughts on that?
Well,
especially coming from cold calling.
Yeah. What's so funny is that our business, we helped almost 90 clients last year.
Yeah, I wanted the people to know how much you guys work you've been putting in.
Yeah. 90 clients last year, 90 happy families.
Love it.
What I like to say. And about 40 of them came directly from social media.
Wow.
And so I do not pay for any sort of advertising, sponsored post. It's all organic conversations. And so when I say it's 40, it's usually split up between our past clients. You know, they're sharing our content. You know, they're engaging with us on social media. They're our number one cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Organic. And so that's, you know, tagging local businesses, checking in at your location in different areas and popping up on those stories or, you know, popping up on their feed because they're going to share it too.
Yeah.
And then agent referrals. That's really where our social media is coming from. And so it's all organic where people are commenting, people are DMing, and it's not from any sort of advertising.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, so much to go there. Okay. So I think you hit a big talking point with the business is not coming necessarily from Grace herself saying, help me buy my house. It's some of it, but a larger component is the referral from the agent who's impressed by what they're seeing from you talking to Grace. Yeah. Right. And when I broke down, I don't know if you know, like Katie Days, obviously you know Glenda Baker, I'm sure you know these people, but like looking at how they address ROI, they were saying that when at the end of the year, when they look at what's the ROI of social for them, because they're putting in a lot of time, money, effort, resources, team members, etc. Right. They said it's 10% is buyers and sellers that are like, hi, can you help me? Right. 30% of the business that came from social was actually the referrals. Yes. That from other agents that are like, I'm going to send her to you. I'm going to send him to you. Yes. Even if they never met them physically. Right. And then the other 20, I think it was alumni clients I call that you're engaging with and constantly staying in contact with through social. Right. Versus, hey, checking in through text, which is not bad necessarily either. Yeah. But happening on social where then they're double back and looking at your content now because you're back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you, I am trying to buy a waterfront property. Okay, yeah, let's, so forth. So did you say that's fair? I mean, is that how you look at it? As far as like what you can expect from this stuff? Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like, you know, it's a just open field of the content that you can put out there, that you want to put out there, that, you know, is going to relate with your ideal client, whoever that ideal client is. And so there's such an opportunity to put the information out there that is going to relate with them and relate to agents without saying, hey, agent, hey, realtor. Yes. Do you know what I mean? I do. I think that's the misconception, that they think, well, how am I going to get referrals if I'm not even talking to the agent? But the agent is seeing you as the go-to for that city or town or space or type of client within the city. They're like, wow, she knows all the things about Dallas-Fort Worth. You know, she's checking in at these places. She's always out doing something here. She's supporting local businesses. You know, she's giving community tours. She's giving advice and tips and all the things. Yeah. You know, as soon as I hear that someone is looking to move to Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm thinking of her. Yep. Because I want them to think of me as not only their real estate agent or their referral partner, but just the local economist, the girl who knows all things about that space. Dallas-Fort Worth. And I don't think people think about this, but your brand is your reputation as the agent, but it's also your reputation on the line with who you refer. Right. So people don't think about that all the time. So it's like, yeah, it's actually within. Yeah. If they're protecting their brand well and have a strong brand in their area, it behooves them to go and find, or because their client is saying, well, I'm moving. Okay, you already sold my house, but where do I go now? Right. I'm thinking to keep my brand intact, I'm going to send it to the best I know. Right. Which is you. Even if I never met you. You get what I'm saying? For so sure. It's all an ecosystem. It's all combined. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I can see, yes, I'm glad that you noted that point. Yeah. You know? And I feel that it's important to engage with other agents too, right? Yes. Like I see somebody that's putting out content and I'm like, hey, I relate with this. Yeah. Like, I get this. This is awesome. You know, shoot them a message and say, hey, I see you. Yeah. I notice you. You know, keep it up. It's really cool. Keep going. Keep doing it. You know, and I don't even mention that I'm a realtor in Dallas-Fort Worth. Like, those conversations are naturally going to happen. You know, but I do think that it's important that you're masterminding, that you're reaching out, you're having high-level conversations with somebody else that's doing it just like you or better. In a different market potential. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in Dallas-Fort Worth, gosh, I can't even tell you how many times that, you know, somebody like
40 minutes away is DMing me or texting me at this point. You know, they're like, hey, I got a referral for you. And I'm like, you don't want to drive down here? Like,
oh, wow. Like, yeah, you don't want to come do this work?
Like,
yeah,
it's only like 40 minutes away. And they're like, nope. Like, I fully trust you. I know that if anyone's going to handle them in Arlington, you know, because I'm in Frisco or wherever it's at, I know that if anyone's going to be able to represent them like I do or better, it's going to be you. And powerful. So it's the content and the message that I'm putting out there. Other agents are seeing it, and it's huge.
Yes, I love it. Wrapping up, I know this is going to be very inspiring to agents, everything they've heard, so thank you. What do you, like, I like to get real though, what do you think they can expect to operate at this level, right? Because especially, I cringe sometimes when it's like, oh, the social media is free, I don't pay for ads. True, and that's great that it's being done organic. But there is a cost. There's a cost in time. There's energy. A cost in energy, thinking,
planning.
Even I heard you put in some stuff in there about the videographer, right? And what's that costing, right? So, like, what do you think it truly costs? And then I don't know if you have someone managing your account or looking into your account or engaging. You're doing that on your own, so that's back to time.
Yep.
So, like, what is the real investment to do this at this level? Like, what would you say to an agent, you know, that's looking at what you're doing and is like, I want to do it just like her and like this.
Yeah.
What should they really expect, you know?
Well,
either monthly, weekly, yearly, I don't know.
I want to back up, and because I do hear agents that come to me all the time and they're saying, I can't do this.
Like
you. Yeah. And I say, you know, choose your hard. What's harder? Not being able to provide for your family next month?
Spirit thing. Right. Yeah. Or just the other stuff you're going to pay for out of your pocket to do something else.
That's right. Zillow leads, like, come on. Yeah. I've never done a Zillow lead before, and I will never in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather be able to put my energy and my focus into something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, and it speaks more than, like, to me, posting on Instagram, it's not like just a post. Like, it's so much more than that to me. And so, you know, choose your hard. What's your hard? You know, being afraid of what you look like on camera, being afraid of what somebody's going to judge you, you know, stumbling across your words. Okay. Yep. If that's your hard, then, you know, you're not going to see the results that social media really has the potential to provide for you and for your life.
Yeah.
And so it's always time or money.
Yeah.
You know, what don't you have? Time
you
or money?
Right. And when it come to, it's at some point it moved towards, you were already putting the time in. When the money came, how did you go about that? Like, even going to getting the videographer, like what was, and then I know all the expense, I don't know if you're using Hootsuite or Social, any of those. Okay, you're not using any management software. Are you against them? It's okay if you are. I don't know. You're obviously doing it your way. It's cool.
Yeah, I am doing it my way.
Yeah.
I feel that, you know, when I want to go all in on something, it's like all or nothing on this one particular. I mean, yes, I've got Instagram and recently started YouTube. And so I do have those two now. But for me, it's okay, I'm going to put this content out there and I'm just going to go all in. I also think that it's important to be social on social media. And so when I'm on there posting myself, it gives me an opportunity to then go and like, comment, share, DM everyone else on there as well.
Yeah, I think when it's tough for agents that are used to that pay-to-play game, because you're coming over to a situation that's based off of consistency and effort, right? It's almost in a weird way, no disrespect to like anybody got in plastic surgery, but it's like the difference between like, I don't want to go work out in the gym for 8 months. Like, I'll just do this surgery.
Yeah.
And you and I know it's not going to be the exact same. It's not. And there's a lot of unspoken benefits that come from when you do it that hard way. And that's no disrespect to anybody who's doing it whatever way. You can win whatever way. You can win both ways. You can win by not doing social media. It's just going to be a different type of way.
Right.
I wouldn't suggest it, but I think you can do it, especially not now going forward. But that's my train of thought. But does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, when I say like, yes, there's other agents who are, you know, spending money on Zillow, Realtor.com. Maybe it is social media ads. Maybe it's, you know, print or billboards or any of that. Like, and that's okay if you have, you know, the time, the energy and the passion behind that to then attract who you're looking to speak to. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to it. I just want to clarify that because I'm passionate about all things social media. It doesn't mean that everybody is. And yet I feel that after I decided that I was going to go all in, I was going to create a brand. I was going to create my avatar and attract clients just like who I want to speak to and who I want to work with. You know, it did everything for me in my business.
Love it. Closing out, what do you think personal brand actually is? I think it's an elusive term, and I think agents can, they don't, like, there's no like defined term, you know? What is it? What is a strong personal brand? Like, what does it mean to build a strong personal brand? Social or not social? Just do you have what do you think about that?
So I think that's interesting question for somebody who like doesn't think like that. Like I don't think like that.
I'm sure you've met agents that you know.
My answer to that is, you know, when I think about my personal brand, it's who do I want to be known for, known of, if that makes sense.
Absolutely,
because you know what I'm putting out there. You know, I want people to be able to say like, oh, okay, she's known for, you know, this is what she does. And basically gives them some image of me without me having to say it.
Yes.
Because of what I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
That's my brand.
Yeah, they said something like marketing is the thing you do when you want to communicate what you want to say, but branding is what makes the marketing actually believable.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
It's like branding is what makes it. It's, and I always use the term seen but felt, seen but not felt. So you can pay to be seen.
Yes.
I can go pay to be seen, but what's not actually felt. Making something felt? Because you could have seen you could have seen me today, right? And I can like set all this up, cool. But if I'm over here talking about like trash cans and like you know, adapters, you're not gonna feel me. You're feeling me because we're talking about something that we're aligned in and we agree with. We love to talk about this stuff. Yeah. So that's just a stupid, silly example, but yeah, I liked your definition of it. And it seems like very focused and intentional is what the difference is.
What's funny is, so Dallas-Fort Worth is 3 hours north of Austin, right? So I'm driving here today for Mega Agent Camp, and like you can't make this trip without stopping at Buc-ee's.
Oh my God. Oh, we're gonna have something off camera. We're gonna have a whole topic about I can't believe you even opened that door. We're not even gonna go there out of respect for everyone's time here, but we're gonna talk about Buc-ee's. But that's hilarious that you brought that up.
Real quick,
oh my God.
You know, like I'm pulling in and I'm like, okay, how can I be the realtor of Buc-ee's? Like, how can I be?
But the Buc-ee's a real estate. Yeah.
Yeah. How can I, like, my brand? You realize
amazing
that this,
brand.
Okay, first of all, there's billboards leading up to it, right? But like, so like you get it, but there's that giant yellow circle in the air with just a little beaver on it. It doesn't even say Buc-ee's.
We just know, you
know where you're about to pull into. And so how can I be the real estate agent?
And I think what's crazy about that is that it's way past that symbol. That symbol is a representation of how a lot of people feel about what goes on inside of the Buc-ee's. Like, it's a whole thing. You could take away the logo at this point, the name. You just said, I kind of remember the logo, but the name and what happens and what goes on at that place and the experience people have in that mega amusement park that is a gas station / like
a mini airport for a gas station.
It's just a great example of the brand recognition is coming from a symbol, but also the reputation is way bigger than just the symbol. Just like Starbucks is way bigger than just the symbol, but the symbol represents all these feelings that is had about the brand.
So when I think about personal brand, you know,
great
I always
example.
think
High five. I'm so glad you brought that up as an example. Yes.
No, that's just one thing that you can think of when you think about personal brand is, you know, how can I be the Buc-ee's? How can I put myself out there? How can my brand tell the story without me having to tell the story?
And I was going to say my last question was, what was one thing you would say to an agent? You know, the number one thing when it comes to, okay, this is my one takeaway from Amanda about personal brand and what you need to do. Would that be a takeaway, or would it be something else that you would say?
Yeah, it's being intentional. being intentional about what you're saying, who you're saying it to, because I think ultimately at the end of the day, your brand is going to attract who works with you.
Yes.
And so if you want to work with, this ideal client, go speak to them, be intentional about it, because I do think that your personal brand will tell the story a lot longer than you can.
And I think it eliminates confusion. It takes discipline, but it eliminates confusion.
Right.
And ultimately, it's actually more efficient and effective on your marketing dollar and your time.
Yes.
Because at least you're talking. But I think it takes bravery to choose that grace, what it was for you.
Yeah.
So congrats to you on being brave enough to choose that grace. And not just be like, I'm going to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody can see what it's done for you. So.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly it.
Yes.
When you talk to everyone, you talk to no one.
Agree.
So be intentional about who it is that you're wanting to work with and talk to.
Boom. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me. We're gonna go have fun at this conference. And
you want to take a quick trip to Buc-ee's?
Yeah, and maybe take a shot too. Start this off. I forgot that was here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
You.
I so appreciate it.
You got it. Bye, guys.
See ya.